Yeah, we back. Figuring it the fuck out. We got Tyrant333, we got Kaseek Ortiz, and we about to give you something here with this one. Yet again, back at it. So just to get right into it, this is a topic I kind of wanted to discuss with Kaseek. I know that he'll have some interesting insight on it. So just the art of being a business, an entrepreneur as a musician. And I want to talk about that just a little bit. I want to elaborate on what I'm kind of speaking on real quick. And it goes back to the famous saying of Jay-Z. I'm a businessman. And you got to really think into that, what that statement really meant. His music wasn't just his music. It was an empire. It was a legacy. It was a business. It was something that was going to touch a lot of lives. It was influencing a lot of people in the streets. And this was something that he knew was going to transform into something bigger than himself. So what I want to talk about every artist today is something I stress to my brother and Kaseek. I'm a serial entrepreneur myself. I got my MBA. I got my insurance license and a realtor's license. So I'm really, I've always been about the business. I'm the dude when I was younger, always telling my family I'm going to be the CEO of this company. You know, and that came to fruition years and years later. This brand you see behind us, this GrizzGangForever, this teddy bear, this praying bear, this is something that we thought about and was just an image in our head as youngins. And as we grew up, it became something that was real and tangible here on Main Street in Fitchburg, Mass. So the biggest thing with that being said is you have an artist. You have a lot of artists out here who just make music, and that's okay. You want to be a musician, and that's the main part of your craft. It's the main part of what you do. You want to express yourself, your art, what you got going on in your head, your thoughts. But at the same time, I expressed to Ben Grizz as he started to get his music out there, we got to do something a little bit bigger. You got to be a business, not just a musician. You got to be somebody who you got to almost look at yourself as like a product. Shout out to Snow. You got to be the product yourself. Your music is something that can ring bells. Your music isn't going to just be spinning on the radio. Your music can be spinning in movies. Your music can be spinning in video games. Your music can start a riot. Your music can start a party. And when you really think about that, it's deeper than anything. And then there's different tiers and layers to this too. You have the merchandise side of things. You got the branding side of things. And then you have the personality side of things. And we're going to touch on that towards the end. But, you know, with that all being said, what are your thoughts on all that, Kaseek?
That's a whole lot of shit right there.
That's an unload right there.
Real unload. 3 minutes worth of unload. But we are a business, you know. To touch on that first subject, you have to, you know, if you're going to be an artist or entrepreneur for that matter, you have to look at it from the shoes that you're in at that very moment as a business. You know, being an artist, a recording artist myself, I view myself as a small business. Eventually, you'll get up to that major empire that we're, you know, talking about. Like, you know, Jay-Z wasn't always Jay-Z that we know now. You know, there's Jay-Z and then there's Jay-Z, the empire, or Jay-Z estates to what it is now. It's super successful, owning multiple facets of, you know, streams of income from title to everything else he's got going on. I'm sure, like real estate, all that good stuff. But as an artist walking into it, you can't also just jump right in and think that it's gonna completely work out. You have to view it as like a small business, and as any small business does, you got to take those small steps. You know, starting to create a DBA or LLC, and then you know go up from the LLCs to the S corps and more, and you know you start really developing and going through the process and taking every step that you need to take in order to become that empire that you're trying to do. So viewing it as a like a stepping stone of your greatness, of your empire, you have to view this as, all right, I'm starting my business. I'm Kaseek Ortiz. I'm the chief. Let me start this business. Everything I do is with a business mindset. And it's smarter to think that way because honestly, as soon as you're born in America, they stamp you with a a social security card, and whether you know it, like it or not, you are officially a number in America.
And this corporation at USFA.
Right.
This whole thing is a corporation.
Right.
This whole country.
Yeah.
You know, which is kind of crazy. So if you're going to come in and say, I don't want to talk about business, business is at the core of everything we do.
Right.
This is a capitalist society, unfortunately.
Marriage is a business. Most people that get married, you know, they look at it as like a business opportunity. Everything is all built around business. And instead of necessarily trying to go against the grain, it's better off just learning. And, you know, like the saying goes, like, if you can't beat them, join them. I'm not saying this is something that you necessarily need to beat, but like, there's nothing really wrong with, there's a lot more facets that can end up happening if you take your business real serious. You can literally get more money being yourself as a business. Like Kaseek Ortiz, I can get more credit being a business because I put Kaseek Ortiz LLC. But as regular Jason Ortiz, my credit is, I'm not getting that much from the bank. You know, so I can open up Kaseek Ortiz and then bam, you know, they're willing to give me 20, 30 grand.
To elaborate on that, what he's saying, he's talking some credit moves as far as business credit, personal credit. You know, just the bare fact of things is when you go to get credit from a bank, you'll get 10 times as more credit as far as a credit limit when you're a business as far as to when you're just a personal person. So, you know, I know the scammers, the light bulbs are going off there. You got to be doing legit business, though. This is what I tell all the homies. You got to be doing legit business. Your business has to be open primarily, usually for at least 2 years. They want to see some actually legit revenue coming in for you to get these high credit limits. But you also can do different things. Is if you got high personal credit and you already got a relationship with a bank, which is, you know, you've paid off something on time, you have a lot of on-time payments, whether it's a credit card or a car loan, you're building that relationship with the bank, and then all of a sudden, you can be a personal guarantor for your own business, which is a PG. So you really just want to focus on having your own good credit, and then you can start working on the business credit. Hit YouTube University, and you can learn more about that. Or, you know, also check in with me at Midas Minds. You know, we're going to get that running real soon, too.
Nah, facts. You have to. Like I said, you want to look at it as as a small business and then go through the process of being a small business. You know, get your hands dirty, and then you start to level up. And as you level up the food chain, you should say, that's when you start really creating your empire. But first and foremost, just view yourself as a small business. And what I mean by that is there's so much of that. Like, your mindset has to shift from the clothes you wear. Like, everything is really a write-off, you know? When I started saying some of that to your brother, Ben Grizz, I was talking to, you know, like, yo, you can buy a Rolex and instead of just being, or like his chain, he's got a chain now. So it's like, instead of looking at that as like a piece of luxury, he spent it on real diamonds. Like, these are things, those are technically assets. And it's a tax write-off, because now if you're looking at your business like a McDonald's, that's a part of your uniform. That's a write-off. These things are like, you know what I mean? Like the regular outfits. The outfit that I'm wearing right now, I wrote this shit off.
Yeah. And artists aren't thinking of stuff like that. That's when you get that business mindset and you incorporate it into what you do as a musician. Right. You know, then stuff like that starts to click. When you start to treat yourself like a business owner, you're going to get up at 8 o'clock and work on your craft to get better, to make your business do better, which is your craft, your music that you're putting out there into the world. When you treat yourself more seriously, other people will treat you seriously. You're showing up at time in studio. You're punctual. You're coming up with ideas to scale and to evolve. Those are the things that are going to take you to the next level as a musician. But if you've never been, and this is for some people, it goes above their heads, but if you've never been a good employee, how do you ever expect to be a good business owner? Mm-hmm. If you've never worked hard at something, how do you expect to all of a sudden come in and just want to work hard at music now? Because even with this music stuff, everything, the people at the top are working hard, or have worked the hardest, or have gained the biggest connections they could possibly gain through networking. One way or another, you're going to have to put in that work.
And the longevity comes from not being or not feeling so entitled once you start really acting. There's a lot of artists that'll wake up today, decide, I'm going to be a singer, I'm going to be a rapper, or whatever, and then they automatically think that they're entitled, that people should just be giving it to them as if they're like some type of baby. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like like that entitlement, you know what I mean? Like a spoiled little brat does shit like that.
Because they're like, I'm talented.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's a lot of people who get places in life and just by strictly outworking the next man or woman. There's a lot of hard workers who get to those places too. You know, so talent, just like you look at Kobe Bryant, he was an example of talent and hard work. To be at the top of the food chain, if you got the talent and you work hard, you're really going to be something special. And that's what I've always preached to the people who come around me. I preach to my brother, Ben, Grizz, Kaseek, and it's something that you're going to see over these next few years. It sets them apart from any other average artist. Kaseek was already on his business. He's a real technical guy. So he really looks into the background and that back room of everything as far as analytic technicalities. He's looking at things that could happen and things that, you know, things that could have happened. And sometimes I get him out of that. But, you know, that's a good insight and foresight to have when you're always ahead of the curve, one step ahead of the curve. And the ideas that we come up with here at GGF, it's something that, you know, we're always a step of the curve. And then when we don't act on it, what happens? We always look and see someone rocking with it because these thoughts in the universe are out there for everyone to go grab. So if you don't grab them and run with them, someone else is. You know?
Will. And sometimes when it happens, low key, I kind of feel like because I thought it or because I said it to you, I put it out into the universe and then somebody else was able to grab it and they're running with my idea. It's almost like their success is actually my success because it's like, I don't feel like you was thinking about that. I feel like because I was saying some shit like that, you seen it floating in the air and you're like, yo, that's kind of a dope ass idea. Let me snatch and run with it.
Sometimes the first one to move gets fed, you know?
Yeah, right. You know?
And going back into the business of everything, you know, we have the studio business here. We have the merch here. We can help artists with artist promotion. Just getting their whole back room again cleaned up, like on the back end of things when you're talking about the PROs and the different things you got to do to clear a record. We have a lot of knowledge and insight here. You know, we've run a couple different great shows, Grizz 1 and 2. We're going to be bringing that back at some point when we feel ready and when we get everything situated with venues and things in order with that. But that was part of us throwing events and showcases and bringing people into the community. So what I'm saying with all that is figure out what makes you special, what makes your team special, and promote that as much as you possibly can. You see people at the grocery store. Hey, you ever been over to GGF? You see people out here at the bar. You ever been to GGF? You see people at your job. Tell them, because you're working at your job, right? You better work as hard at your business as you are as your job. So you can eventually do what you love more than you ever did your job.
Yeah.
You know, that's the goal.
It's funny because I'm like one of those dudes that we're even talking about right there is like if I was working a job, I might not tell anybody I even do music. I just let them fucking find out by themselves. But honestly, I really should have been like, yo, you know, artists always kind of feel like we don't want to be too pushy or like force feed somebody. If they didn't ask for it, kind of comes off too salesy. And I hate, you know, I hate feeling like somebody's trying to come up to me and sell me something. It's always kind of like an awkward feeling like, bro, I just want to be left alone, especially if I'm in my own world. And like on top of the ads thing, you know, if I had to drop a gem as far as doing ads, or you're talking about cleaning up the back end, you know, a lot of artists need to stop DMing people and telling them, yo, listen to this song and check this out. Like if we've never spoke before, you're not commenting on my post, liking anything, and you just hit me out of nowhere telling me I need to follow you and need to do X, Y, Z, I'm all set. And not only am I all set, you're probably gonna end up getting blocked.
That's part of business. Like, it's called having skin in the game. You want to have some type of skin in the game with these people that you feel like you want to ask favors for and reach out to this and that. Whether you done broke some bread with them, you went to an event with them. It doesn't always have to be monetary. You know, it could be something you just quite as simple as showed some love to these people. It's always been genuine respect, going back and forth. Show up to events, get some studio time, get some merch, something, brother. Like, let's get some skin in the game. You see, dude, whatever that person does, if you support that, they'll be more apt to talk to you than if you're just coming up and demanding things just because you think you're hot shit, you know? And we've all been there. We've done that to people too, you know? Everyone's been there
I used to go
before.
on Facebook and tag a whole bunch of motherfuckers, and it's like, why am I tagging these people? I'm just like forcing it. You don't need to do that. You know, until I made a post and was like, yo, if anybody likes this post, this will let me know that in the future I can tag you. That way it's not like I'm being so pushy. Honestly, though, like when it comes down to it, fostering these relationships is the biggest, most important thing, because in order to foster a relationship, it's kind of like when you were a kid, you want to make a friend. You didn't necessarily know who was who until your mom was like, yo, I'm bringing you over to little Joey's house. He's got PlayStation. And then y'all became friends because he had a PlayStation. But now y'all became best of friends because, you know, there was something there to break the ice. You can't just be like, yo, I'm the next blah, 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 listen to my song. I don't care. Foster a relationship. You know, I love fostering relationships because the people I actually reach out to, I actually aspire to be like them. I see their content. I see their family life. I kind of want to, like, I'm not saying I'm jealous, but I kind of want what they got in a small degree. So it's like, if I want what they got, then it's my best interest to be like, yo, I really like this, or congratulations, you got married, or you have a child, or blah, blah, blah. Things like that, it matters because whether they see it or not, eventually I'm going to be popping up so much that you're going to have to respond to me. And when you respond to me, you're going to end up liking who I am because I'm just that of a genuine person. Now I'm fostering a relationship, so it's almost nothing for me to be like, yo, I actually do music too, and here you go. Could you maybe check this out?
Yeah.
You don't have to be a dickhead about it.
And get people involved. Like you got a team, you got a crew of like-minded people doing the same thing. They all support your music, your craft. Get them together. And sometimes reaching out to people that you're really trying to get in contact with is just a lot simpler if you just have representation. You have, you know, you don't know how many times Ben Grizz was reaching out to people. He was reaching out to people. And then when I reach out, they answer, or vice versa. I was reaching out, they answer to Ben Grizz or Kaseek. Like if you got to tag team it. And
I was reaching out to models, reaching out to A&Rs, reaching out to all types of people just to be like, either left on red or just look like I'm creepy. Almost.
When you got someone representing you, it looks real professional. It looks like, yo, this guy takes it seriously. He's got people behind him who obviously takes this seriously. And they're coming off real professional and respectful.
Right.
That'll give you a more leg up to get in we talk to a lot of contacts. We got a lot of people in our corner waiting for us to blow the doors off this. And that's what you're going to see us do. Starting, you know, it's already been happening, but the rest of this year and moving forward, you're going to see a lot of special things out of GGF.
Yeah. I know for me personally, I'm about to be dropping a whole lot of music. And I know I'd be saying that because like I should have already dropped another record. But I definitely have a whole lot in the store that it's really just preparing. That's why I want to just unload the clip. Before, I used to want to be like Ben Grizz, where Ben Grizz would have like a whole stash of just things ready to go. And I was like, yeah, I want to work so hard that I have a whole bunch of stash to go. Now I have almost too much stash to go. And because I have ADHD and terrible decision-making when it, like, I won't say terrible decision-making, but I have terrible skills on, I never know if I want to drop this, or this. And then I'll spend like an entire day combating with just the 3 songs I want to release. I just want to unload the clip. If I like it, love it, record it, mix it, master it, and then ship it. I want to give it a birthday, and here you go. This is when the song is coming out while I love it. I don't feel like, you know, releasing records a year, 2 years. I literally have records that I could drop for like the next 4 years if I wanted to. That's bananas. It's like just fucking, here you go.
And for you newer artists coming in, you want to look at it like almost you want to have a business plan for what you're going to be doing for yourself and what you think you represent as an artist, your music, what kind of music you want to type of make. That could switch on the fly because you could start making the music and something else is really resonates. You're better at making a certain type of music, whether it be melodies, the trap music, R&B music, whatever. But you want to have a plan for this. And what's the old saying? Within 3 to 5 years, you'll see whether a business is going to succeed or not. So, if you're coming in a get-rich-quick scheme, that could happen. Again, like we always say, shoot for the stars. But at the same time, be in it for the long haul. Work, and work again for a good 3 to 5 years and see where it can take you. And when I say 3 to 5 years, I want to see a consistent 3 to 5 years. you're putting stuff out for that whole 3 to 5 years. If not, then you got to reset it every time you take a 6-month gap. Because then you didn't put in a good 3 to 5 years. You took time off. So like that's what it is. That's what it's going to take for you to crack the bubble. That's what it's going to take for you to meet that next connection that's going to set you up for life. Or that's what it's going to take for you to crack a fan base that's going to end up feeding you and your family for life.
In that whole 3 to 5 years, you might not actually make 1 cent in the first place. And a lot of people get discouraged because they think, I can work 3 to 5 years consistently, until you're actually really doing it consistently. And then you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel and you're not having any of the funds coming in or anything. You're kind of like, oh man, should I just give this up? Because I'm really throwing so much more blood, sweat, and tears and cash flow funding into what it is that I believe, with no real foreseeable quick light at the end of the tunnel. If you zoom out, you picture at the bigger picture, you'll probably be able to see the light in the tunnel and a whole lot more, because you'll probably see a completely beautiful landscape painted by your own doings.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when you're like, while you're doing it or you're in the process or in the motion of these things, for that 3 to 5 years of consistency, you're not really seeing anything back.
Yeah.
You can.
You could. It all depends. There's a lot of different situation variables, but at the end of the day, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. So you got to really love this shit. You got to really want to do this stuff. You got to really value your business, have your business in order as far as when you're clearing your record, getting it out to people, when you're interacting with people, interacting with DJs, interacting with labels, have the right team around you, have a good lawyer on your side, and make all the things happen. Figure out how to brand yourself. And today, that's what we're going to give you for Figure It the Fuck Out. We'll be back at it sometime soon.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Figure it the fuck out.
Let's get it.